Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and go beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee, co-host Raina. She's ready for her snack of the day, which are Blue Wilderness chicken bites, and let's see if she likes them. Oh yeah, I think so. So today I'm here to review my ninth banned book of 2025, and that is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So first, let me give you a brief synopsis of what the book is about, and there are no spoilers here. But let me just let you know that this book was published in 2011. The genres, according to Goodreads, are historical fiction, science fiction, time travel, horror, fantasy, and thriller. I'd say it's pretty high on history, kind of more of a social or cultural history. It's high on time travel, very, very low on horror, and moderate with fantasy and thriller. So the storyline is this. In 2011, there is a man who lives in Lisbon Falls, Maine. His name is Jake Epping, and he discovers a portal that can transport him to 1958. No matter how many times now you go through this portal, you arrive at the exact same time in 1958. When you return, no matter how long you've stayed, you lose only 2 minutes in 2011. So now the man who tells Jake about this portal is much older, and he has used it several times, many times actually, to go back and forth. So he has a lot of information to impart about how the portal works. And one of the things that he's come up with is an idea to intercept the murder of John F. Kennedy, which doesn't occur until 11/22/63. Now, he's fallen short of being able to accomplish this goal, but he wants now the younger man, Jake, to take over. Sounds simple, right? Go to the past, live there for 5 years, 1958 through 1963, change the bad thing that happened, and then return to 2011. But of course, there are caveats. One is that every time you access this portal, you reset everything that you may have influenced during your previous visit. Another is that the past does not want to be changed. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that every time you try to intervene in something in the past, especially say big world-changing things like a presidential assassination, the past will throw monkey wrenches into your plans, such as a flat tire in Dallas, maybe on your way to the presidential motorcade of 11/22/63, things like that. Another problem is that people are people. I mean, we're all human. So, people befriend Jake while he is away in 1958. They learn to count on him, care about him, and he's influenced by them as well. So, who knows? He may even fall in love with one of them. Anyway, before I talk about specific bans against this book, I just want to review a few things about bans in general. First of all, what is a banned book? What do I mean when I say a banned book? Well, I think the definition from Britannica website, and I'll put a link in the description, kind of says it very well. It says book banning is the practice of prohibiting or restricting the reading of certain books by the general public or by members of a local community or religious group. Books can be banned by means of their removal from publicly accessible locations, such as libraries, by their destruction, including the burning of printed materials, or by making their authorship or distribution a punishable act. Books are typically banned by governments, but they can also be effectively banned by religious authorities, businesses, and in rare cases, powerful private individuals. To ban a book is almost always a controversial act in a liberal democracy, since its citizens consider media freedom to be both a common good and a necessary component of any democratic society. So I think that, is something important. So now, what is the difference between a ban and a challenge? Well, here's the definition of a challenge from the American Library Association website. And again, I will put a link. It says a challenge is an attempt to remove or restrict materials. So kind of the same thing as a ban, except they're saying they're just attempting it, but it's based on the objections of a person or a group. A banning is the removal of those materials. Challenges do not simply involve a person expressing a point of view. Rather, they attempt to remove material from the curriculum or library, thereby restricting the access of others. Okay, so I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say that a challenge is in effect a ban. I mean, it's removing the material from where it previously was accessible to a particular group. Now, particularly if the access to the book in question lasts for any length of time and the book does not remain accessible during that time, it may be removed because of a challenge. A school board could say, we're going to review this. If it doesn't get reviewed for an entire year, it was effectively banned from that group, that public place for that year. However, I will say that sometimes the good thing with the challenge is that sometimes they can be overruled, of course. The school board may look at it and say, no, we think it's appropriate to keep the book on the shelf, and the book remains there. Or sometimes the students themselves have spoken up on behalf of the book and have been able to turn things around before the book does become permanently inaccessible to them. So now, why is this such a concern at this point? Well, here again are the stats from the ALA website. And again, I'll put a link in the description. And it says, during National Library Week of 2025, which was April 6th through the 12th, the American Library Association released data documenting attempts to censor books and materials in public school and academic libraries during 2024. The data shows that the majority of book censorship attempts are now originating from organized movements, pressure groups, and government entities that include elected officials, board members, and administrators, and those initiated 72% of demands to censor books in school and public libraries. So, for me at least, there are several things that are disturbing about that statement. First, of course, is the fact that bans and challenges are now more organized. We're not necessarily talking about a concerned parent who doesn't want just their child to not read the book. We're talking about an organization that wants it removed, resulting in none of the children having the opportunity to access that book. Number two, something called a pressure group. That doesn't even sound like something attractive. But, any group, I think, and I feel, could become a pressure group if they stay organized behind banning a particular book. Then it's a group with a ban on their agenda. And no matter what they call themselves, they could call themselves, reading free or freedom to read or something along those lines, but they may actually be pushing for the banning of a book. So it may sound good, and they may even have some other goals that you think are good goals, and that's fine. But just be aware they're also perhaps against a particular book being in a particular place. So I wouldn't necessarily get hung up on the particular names of these groups or, like I say, what you might think their overall goal is, because if they're pushing to ban a group, then they are, in effect, a pressure group. Now, the part that really disturbs me is the part that elected officials are involved. Who among us really wants the government to interfere with things that are available in libraries and in school curriculums? Those belong under the purview of librarians and people who are, skilled in education, teachers, librarians, those kinds of things. They really don't belong in the hands of politicians. And yes, input from parents as well. I don't think anybody would deny that. Okay, so generally speaking, per the ALA website, in 2024, ALA's Office for Intellectual Freedom tracked 821 attempts to censor library materials and services, and in those cases, 2,452 unique titles were challenged. Last year, now they mean by that in 2023, ALA tracked 1,247 attempts with 4,240 unique titles challenged. So the numbers went down. And it says here, though the number of reports decreased in 2024, the number of documented attempts to censor books continues to far exceed the numbers prior to 2020. So in 2020, a lot happened. We all lost our minds, really. But yeah, that seems to be the year that a lot of things started to escalate in terms of book bans. 2024 being the exception. We're starting to see a downside. So, that's probably a good thing overall. I'm going to take that as a positive side. And I say keep the downward trend going. So anyway, I just wanted to say that just to kind of update and reiterate, what the terms mean, how I'm looking at them, how I'm using them when I'm discussing banned books, and what the layout of the situation actually is, just so be less misunderstanding around that. So let's talk about this specific book here. Now, where is this book banned? Well, the old reliable, Florida. It's been removed in 2 counties from the public schools. One is Clay County, which removed a very high number of Mr. King's books, and the other is Escambia County. That comes from a Newsweek article that, again, I will link in the description. But also, there is a county here in Virginia that has also removed this book from the school library. That was also in Newsweek. But overall, the Florida ban against Mr. King is, the most remarkable, because currently there are 57 of his books that have been removed, and a whopping total of 98 if you include the ones that are currently under review. So I'm going to link an article from The Hill from August of 2024. And it says a group of major book publishers sued the state of Florida over what they call an unconstitutional book ban law that allows challenges to books in school libraries. 6 publishers, Penguin Random House, Hatchet Book Group, HarperCollins Publishers, Macmillan Publishers, Macmillan Publishers, Simon and Schuster, and Source Books, along with the Authors Guild and some prominent book authors, one of them is Stephen King, filed the 94-page lawsuit Thursday, meaning in August of 2024, in federal court in Orlando. In the suit, they argued book bans have surged, true, in violation of the First Amendment, because the passage of Florida's 2023 education bill called HB 1069, and I'd invite you to look that up to see what it says if you're curious. The bill basically allows parents to try to remove materials from schools if they are seen as pornographic by the school boards. Now, I do not believe that that lawsuit has gone to court. Lord knows how much time that'll take to get any kind of settlement, let alone a decision if it goes all the way to that. Now, a decision obviously would be more definitive and be something that, could be cited in other places where maybe similar bans are taking place, but I don't know which way that would go. So that's kind of the story against this book. Not one of the more widely banned, but Stephen King is widely banned in that one place in Florida. So what did I think of the book? Well, it's not pornographic, for one thing. It's obviously not written for children, but it's not a graphic book either sexually or violently. Again, not a lot of horror in that book, if any, other than really time travel and some supernatural kinds of things. I think it's a very imaginative story. It contains, again, supernatural elements, if you want to refer to time travel as that. But it's historically accurate as well, from what I could tell. I would have been thrilled myself if my daughter had read such a lengthy book, historical novel, in high school. I mean, I don't think I would have really been concerned. I might have asked if it was scary, only because I know that King can be. But again, this novel is not. Also, on a personal note, I really loved in the book the sense of nostalgia that I got from reading it. I was born in the late 50s, so a lot of the things in the novel are things that I grew up with. Everything from the landline phone, the limited TV service, some of the songs and dances that are mentioned. It was all nostalgic for me, as I'm sure it was for many baby boomers who have read the book. I really liked the message in the book, the overall message. It seemed to me that, it was saying that we know the past, and we can think it's good or we can think it's bad. But somehow, despite the past, life continues to go on and the world keeps turning. So the past, has an influence on our future, but yet still, no matter what happens that we can look at in the past, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean we know what kind of influence it's going to have on our future. So what are you willing to give up to try to make that future be the outcome that you want? How hard are you willing to work when you really don't know what the future eventually will bring? So shouldn't we maybe be careful what we wish for? Is it better to just live every day to the fullest possible and just appreciate what you have in the moment? I don't know. I'll let you decide. So that is my review of this banned book. If you have some, spare time for 849 pages or whatever it was, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very good book, but it does take some commitment to get through it. Also, I have created a playlist of the songs recommended in the back of the book. The playlist is called 112263. So if you do read the book, you can have a nice musical backdrop for your reading. And welcome to the 50s. So as always, please subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I appreciate you, and thanks for watching.